I think we're catching up here. Hi, everyone. Welcome to 28 Days of Health. My name is Dr. D, and I am overjoyed to be with you here tonight and every night through November because we are on a challenge together, a journey together, a path together. And it doesn't matter where you are on your path, right? Or the pace of your path. You are there because of daily habits. So, pace and distance on your path, that has everything to do with the systems that we fall back on each and every day. This is about routine. This is about daily habits, daily choices. And that's why we're doing it together for 28 days. We are going to learn about ourselves and changes, tweaks that we can make to be a better us, a better community provider, right? To be able to create wellness, not just within our own house, but share it with other people so that we can share the health, right? That is the big goal for me in our 28 days of health together, is that I help you share the health with others, because together we're going to be able to create a better generation to follow us, and we're going to be able to create longevity for ourselves. And I measure that different maybe than some other people. A lot of people measure their life based on quantity of their years, right? The length of their life. And we're going to talk more about what you can do in short bursts of time to create more quality, more sense of well-being. And I'm going to tell you that starts here, right? So we're going to create wellness within us, and then we can create wellness, as I like to say, within walking distance. We're going to create wellness around us. Now, if you visited us last night, you know that we talked all about hydration. We talked about the importance of hydration and how even things like certain foods and supplements can amplify hydration. If you missed it, here are just a couple of different things that I want you to take away from it. First off, you're probably not getting enough water every day. There's a good chance that your daily habits are actually increasing your need for water, not decreasing your need for water. Would you be surprised to know that as little as a 2%, was really 1.5% decrease in hydration, in total body hydration, can give you brain fog, irritability, a sense of moodiness, and you do that long enough, that's persistent enough, and you may have concerns with mental emotional decline, a sense of lethargy, or a lack of ambition. But it's really kind of fun too. There's some other fun tips that we can use. Did you know that you should weigh yourself in the morning, because you're going to be down by quite a bit more, and that has a lot to do with lack of hydration as we sleep. So sometimes we see little perks, right? You want to jump on the scale in the morning, but my point here is, if you're down a little bit in the morning because your body's a little bit dehydrated because you haven't been consuming water throughout the night, obviously, right? Then why is the first thing many people reach for a cup of coffee, which is a diuretic, which is going to just deplete your hydration that much more, right? So we talked about a couple of different ways that you could up your game by gamifying your hydration, right? How you could use things like collagen peptides or astaxanthin, which are natural components that can be found through diet or through supplementation, that have the ability to be little celluloid packets and hold on to fluid. So whether you're thinking about skin health and the glow that hydration gives your skin, or you're just thinking about age-related concerns and you want to hold on to hydration better, astaxanthin and collagens are great ways to do this, in addition to getting more colorful foods in your diet, all of which are going to help you hold on to hydration. Now, today is a different topic. Tonight's topic is alcohol. You knew I was going to do it, right? You knew I was going to come in here and just right out of the gate, I was going to talk about habits that we need to change. And sometimes, on top of hydration, it's not just the coffee or tea or soda drinking that can influence our hydration. It can also be some of our habits related to alcohol, right? Remember last night I said any vice you have is going to increase your need to stay hydrated. Well, alcohol is one of those things where you'll find people really looking to defend it. In fact, whether I'm talking to people about weight loss, I'm talking to people about healthy aging or slowing down the aging process. I often will call this the glycation process, right? The shellacking of the body. Or we're talking about individuals um, that are trying just to achieve better health. Maybe they're looking to be more physically active. Would you be surprised to hear that at least the top three questions they'll ask? I'm going to tell you the number one question I get asked is there a specialized diet I need to follow? The second in line for questions that I get asked is when can I start drinking alcohol again? If you're going to put me on a detox, when can I start having alcohol again? If I'm going to follow a diet, when can I have alcohol again? Maybe they just cut to the chase and say, if I do this and I work with you on health habits, can I still drink alcohol? Right? So people are really attached to this. And it's important to know why, if you're someone that's attached to alcohol, right? No judgment. This is a safe space, you guys. No judgment here. It's important, however, to understand intention. What is it that we're looking to achieve if we're drinking alcohol? Does alcohol give you a sense of social connection? Is it something that you say, I only do when I'm being social with people, right? Just so you know, people also say that about cigarettes and smoking. I only do it when I'm at a party, right? Well, there's a reason why. Alcohol definitely decreases that sense of judgment, or, we often say that we become more inhibited, like those things that would otherwise we would stop and say, well, wait, is this good for me? We tend to see those guardrails go down when we are drinking, which is why if you're someone that drinks socially, but only socially, you want to not just know that that's the factor, but you also want to know when do you start to go from a moderate drinker to a regular drinker, or someone that is feeling uncomfortable at a party if they don't have a drink in their hand, right? Because then when we know that, we can talk about different things like mocktails that you can use. So that you feel like you're still being very social, you feel like you're still doing things that other people are doing, but you have and thereby decreased the amount of alcohol that you're drinking. Maybe you've given yourself one drink that you're going to have, but then you're going to limit the rest but still participate in your social engagements by using a mocktail. Now, a lot of people will drink alcohol because they are stressed out. And I feel you. I am picking up what you're laying down, right? A lot of people say, I just want to come home and I want to have a nice glass of fill in the blank. I'm just needing to relax, right? And we want to know that that's the case. And the reason why we want to know if that's the case, because it helps us find out a little bit more or unpack that health habit, that health factor, right? Or that non-health factor, so that we can replace that potentially with something else. Exercise is one of the things that people will often find is of benefit to replace their alcohol. They will find that taking a walk, it doesn't even have to be a freakish commitment to exercise. They'll find that simply taking a walk, when they otherwise would have come in and had a glass of fill in the blank. The idea here is that we're just simply going to replace one habit for another habit, right? And that's a powerful place to be, is to understand if the motivation is stress or relaxing from a stressful day. Are there other things that you can do that will allow you to achieve some of the same benefit, but kind of move the needle on the health scale or on move the needle in the right direction for you. Now, it's important to understand, does this mean that you should never have alcohol? Some of you right now might be saying, but I heard that alcohol is actually good for my heart. And it is true that polyphenols that are rich in red wine are good for the heart. And the idea here is, if the idea of antioxidant rich wine is good for the heart, first question to ask yourself is, at what cost? For every gimme, there's a gotcha. And you have to appreciate that there's a lot of sugar in alcohol. Alcohol is highly processed, which means there's often going to be additives or chemicals in there. So is there something else that you can consume that gives you antioxidants, polyphenols, the protection, the cardioprotective nature of red wine, without actually getting the oxidative stress that comes from the sugar that is in wine or other alcoholic beverages? So what I want you to do is ask yourself that question. And if you're still going to drink alcohol, again, this is a safe space, right? So maybe we move into that same idea that we had earlier about what is considered a moderate amount of alcohol for you, and then what other drinks can you incorporate, not to pace yourself, but so much to but much more so that you can create a health regimen around that habit, right? Maybe if stress is the reason why you drink alcohol, one of the things that you incorporate isn't ditching the glass today, right, or tonight, but in fact, not falling into some of the other habits that maybe happen when you want to relax with a glass of wine, like falling down onto the couch and finding yourself 3 hours later finishing up some kind of binge fest on episodes of you fill in the blank, right? Maybe there's other things that we could do. Maybe while you are drinking a glass of wine, if that's what you do to relax, you also get into a conversation with someone, right? Maybe there's habits that have formed around that glass of alcohol that we could change, and we could start to make a health habit for you by doing something like that without getting rid of the alcohol right away. Sometimes when it comes to alcohol, maybe you're not drinking something straight up, right? It's not just tequila, it's not just bourbon, it's not just a glass of wine, but you're actually putting it in with a mixture of something. And so that's one of the health habits that we could start to do when we think about what are the combined environment that's around this drinking of alcohol. If you're someone that is consuming alcohol but putting it into a mixer, maybe the idea is to find something that's more of a functional mixture, something with less sugar, right? Some more natural ingredients. Maybe you find a way to drink with seltzer water instead of tonic water, which has sugar in it. We try to find other ways to do this that don't mean that we have to run into the artificial sweetener aisle or anything like that, but maybe find other solutions that help us even slow down drinking. If you're someone that right now uses mixers and you don't really have a taste for straight alcohol, but you still see benefit to a social gathering, a relaxation after work, or a hard day, or just the length of the day, it may be that you turn your evening cocktail into a sipping cocktail. Well, why don't we get into that discussion? Your evening cocktail. Is it okay to drink 7 glasses of wine a week, right? Is it okay to drink more than 7 glasses of wine a week? How do you define moderate? Someone may ask me. What is moderate drinking? Well, it's defined as no more, chronic or excessive drinking is considered 4 glasses in one sitting for a female, or 5 glasses in one sitting. So that could be 5 beers, that could be 5 glasses of wine. Whoa! That could be 5 tequila and tonic, for if you're a man, or 4 if you're a woman. But we also have to appreciate pour sizes, right? 3 ounces. 3 ounces is what's considered a pour with wine, and 1 ounce is what is considered a pour with hard liquors. So if you're someone that is, using the two fingers or the two shots or those sorts of things, you have to appreciate, much like grains, that serving sizes that we're used to are not the way serving sizes are measured, right? Now, someone's going to ask, what do you mean about the grains, right? Would you be surprised to know? Because, like, again, most of you, if you're having drinks of alcohol, you are doing double shots maybe, or you're doing a 6 ounce pour of your wine, which means you're getting two drinks in one glass, right? So you really only can have 2 glasses of wine. You can't have 4 glasses of wine because now you're in the excessive range. But someone may ask about the grains. Well, you should know one bagel is 5 servings. You're only, is 5 servings of grains, and most people treat that as one. I mean, let's just do a personal inventory right now, you guys. When was the last time you only had 2 ounces of pasta, right? When was the last time you only had one slice of bread? So, what we want to understand is that serving sizes today are very different than what we base many of these dietary indices on, or the metrics that we measure for what is considered moderate drinking, less than 4 in a sitting, what is considered excessive drinking, more than 4 drinks in a particular sitting, right? So that's somewhere around 9 glasses of your fill if you're a female per week. And so right now you're going to do the math and find out what side of the fence are you on, or what side of that coin are you on. Now, speaking of that coin, that proverbial coin, right? Really what we're looking at with alcohol and sugar is that they are just different sides of the same coin. Alcohol metabolizes into sugar in the body in a very quick way. And so one of the things that we get concerned about isn't just alcohol's effect on the liver. We also get very concerned about the combination of alcohol's effect, ethanol, on the liver, and the impact of the excessive sugar, or the excess sugar that's in our diet if we are alcohol drinkers. Both alcohol and the sugar that alcohol finally metabolizes into um, increases oxidative stress in the body by a fantastic amount. Sugar is considered the number one oxidative stressor, right? Now we've got pollution, so let's just put some framework around that, right? Pollution is one of those things that's such an oxidative stressor, and yet sugars, because of how much we consume, are considered the highest oxidative stressors. As such, what ends up happening in the body is alcohol increases triglycerides in the body. And so we start to see what are called toxic free fatty acids, and we start to see an elevation of triglycerides in individuals that drink alcohol on a chronic basis. This doesn't mean on an excessive basis, this means on a regular basis. So that social drinker is very much still within that range of someone that will still see the health and the cardio metabolic benefits of alcohol that we'd refer to with antioxidants and polyphenols. It's when it starts to become chronic, regular, persistent, that we start to see that chronic, regular, active, and persistent inflammation and oxidative stress in the body. And as a result of that, we do see lipid metabolism start to become problematic. Triglycerides are where it begins, and unfortunately, triglycerides are they're the fat storage form of sugar. If you didn't know that, and they end up being toxic to the liver. They end up overwhelming tissues, and that becomes a problem for insulin sensitivity. So one of the things that we get very concerned about in medicine about alcohol consumption is that when it's done chronically, we start to see a decrease in a really important enzyme in the body called lipoprotein lipase, or LPL. LPL is what helps your body ultimately clear cholesterol or lipids from the body. It actually cleaves what are long lipids into shorter lipids that you're able to use for energy. But alcohol can, and when I say energy, I mean the kind that gives you get up and go, the kind that allows you to have a healthy metabolism to keep weight off. Alcohol is one of those things that limits LPL in the body. So while triglycerides are going up, your ability to break them down or carry them from the body is declining. And the longer years that we're exposed to that, the worse off we are with something like that. We also see something very similar in hormone disruption, whether it's sleep hormones, sugar hormones, or even sex hormones. We see that people that are chronic or persistent drinkers tend to have a decline in their reproductive or sexual hormones. So their sexual arousal will go down. Not the they have they're less inhibited. That's true, right? So desire can go up, but sexual function tends to go down as a result of this. So it's not just bad decisions that sometimes come from alcohol. It's not just concerns that we have with hormones, like sleep hormones, blood sugar hormones, but also sex hormones. We also see concerns with bad habits leading to other bad habits. We've gone over that. Ultimately, what happens because of the way that we drink alcohol today is just simply a genetic mismatch for who we are and how we metabolize sugars, or how we metabolize or can deal with an abundance of fat, or really sugar storing itself as fat. Now, one of the things that you may not know, because I feel like sometimes when we talk about alcohol, people go, well, I knew that, but I'm not really seeing it in my lab work today. I'm not really seeing some of the ill effects that she's talking about, which often leads people to believe they have a bigger window of being able to drink alcohol. Sometimes it's like I said, for every gimme, there's a gotcha. And they say, well, I'm okay with these extra few pounds that I'm gaining, or that I'm keeping on, that I just can't seem to lose because I don't want to give up alcohol, right? I have to have a little bit of fun, and that's fair. What I want us to do, like I said, is find other habits that we can wrap around this habit. So we either, one, minimize this habit, completely eradicate this habit, or compete with this habit. And that's like that idea of walking and being social and being more physically active, right? Because one of the things that I do want you to know is studies on individuals that exercise, they tend to have less of this issue with alcohol. Now, it's not a free for all, right? But individuals that exercise on a regular basis tend to be more metabolically adaptive, or they tend to be more metabolically flexible, where simply because they're doing measures to improve their lean muscle mass, they're able to manage insulin sensitivity better than the individual that doesn't exercise, which is why I say, let's pay attention to your healthy habits. If you're the person that comes home after a stressful day and has alcohol and then plops themselves on the couch, I need you to get your butt up, and I need you to move around a little bit more than that, right? Well, I don't want you to take your drinking on the road to take a walk. I do want you to think about taking a walk before you take a drink. Now, I was going back to, I haven't really seen it in my lab work yet. My lipids still look good. My triglycerides still look good. Maybe I'm just one of those people, and you might be. There are people that metabolize alcohol very, very well, and there are people that do not metabolize alcohol well at all. This is why we can see something of a very similar lifestyle or alcohol consumption be very different very different from person A to person B, and that is a fair observation. So what I want to do is just give you a couple more things that I want you to observe. Do you have allergies? If you have allergies, you are someone that will not tolerate alcohol as well as another individual that doesn't have allergies, that doesn't have a hypersensitivity reaction to the environment, to changes in the environment, to dander, to animals, those sorts of things. Why? Because people that have hypersensitivities, they are allergic, also have more of a hair-like trigger to histamine. And alcohol, it doesn't matter how you cut it, is a histamine creator. So what are some of the ways besides alcohol that you might know if histamine is a problem for you? If you have a lot of gut issues, gut hyperpermeability issues, histamine is playing a role in that. Alcohol limits an enzyme in the body that allows us to manage histamine. And not be behind the eight ball when it comes to histamine. This is why some people with alcohol consumption get migraines, because they can't manage that histamine response because of an enzyme called diamine peroxidase. Um, so one of the things, yes, so one of the things that we want to pay attention to is, are you someone that maybe has a histamine response? There's a real tell to someone that isn't tolerating alcohol or metabolizing alcohol well. Take a look at your fingers. Do you have red fingertips when you drink alcohol? You're having a histamine response when that happens. Sometimes we feel a little bit gummy here. We definitely feel thick. They're not sausage fingers, but they're red and they feel like they're holding on to fluid. You're having a histamine response, and alcohol was likely the trigger of that histamine response. Some people get more of a headache. They feel more hung over, right? These are people that do not clear or metabolize alcohol as well. So what we're doing is we're finding out which camp are we in. Perhaps we're going to add in some mocktails. We're definitely going to add in more water. And if some of these things aren't enough for you, I'm going to encourage you to do two things in your 28 days of health. I want you to do a sleep diary. If you're someone that drinks alcohol, I want you to start doing a sleep diary. I want to know a little bit more about your sleep, if it's fragmented, if you wake up in the middle of the night, right? Do you wake up feeling rested? And we're going to make this a crossover study. I'm going to ask you in the last 2 weeks of some of these healthy changes that you stop drinking alcohol and you see how your sleep will change. You'll see if that starts to improve. Now, maybe I shouldn't have given up the punchline that I expect in the last 2 weeks of your 28 days that you're going to do better than you did in the first 28 days if you are someone that drinks alcohol. So maybe we could do another challenge. Maybe for these 28 days, you will avoid alcohol altogether. If you decide to take on that challenge, I need you to take a picture of yourself today on your last drink, and I need you to take a picture of yourself on the last day of our 28-day challenge. You will see a difference. You'll see a difference in your skin. You'll see a difference in your youth. And that is sometimes all that we need to say, I feel fantastic. Take pictures if that's one of the things that's going to help you do this. Maybe you do what I do, right? I create steps that I'm going to do each and every day. Every day I tell somebody, and I want to mark these things off my list because these are my better human, keep me on track, right? I'm going to tell one person every day that I'm grateful for them. I may tell them why I'm grateful for them. I may just say thanks for being you, right? Because I can't imagine my life without them. What creates gratitude in me? Imagining that person out of my life, right? So I don't like what that feels like when you guys are outside of my life, when I don't get to do things like this with you. So I want to say I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for the time that you're giving me right now and that you're giving yourself, right? So I am not just grateful for you spending time with me. I'm grateful for you spending time with you because you are going to be better for it. Maybe this is your 10 minutes of mindfulness. If I would shut my yap, right, maybe it would just be 10 minutes. 20 pages of nonfiction reading. I want you guys, I'll challenge you guys to create your own list. Maybe your list doesn't include complimenting a stranger. Shoot, you can do this on social media. We are in an amazing world, right? I can just reach out to someone that I love their post. I love what they put out there into the universe. Maybe I just love the selfie that they took, right? But I'm going to compliment a stranger every day. We often, hear people say, if someone's missing a smile, give them yours, right? I think Dolly Parton says that, right? If you see someone missing a smile, give them yours, right? 20 minutes of hard physical work each and every day. I'm going to save some of these for you guys in the future, because I would love it if, while we talk about creating routines, we start to create our own list of things that we will dedicate, commit to, not just to be better to ourselves, but to be better to our family and ultimately better to our community. Until I get to see you tomorrow night on our 28 days of health, this one's a little bit different. You're going to go live with us, and you can go into the Facebook page here. You're going to click under events, and you're going to see that you can sign up for our Wednesday call-in radio show. I'm going to have me and a group of panelists that are going to ask me questions. On Wednesday nights, we do a little thing called That's Not True, right? This is where someone can ask me a question, something that they've heard. It could be a health myth, it could be a food myth, it could be a sleep myth. It doesn't matter. If you've heard something, I want you to write in the comments or send us an email at mahealthyliving@marketamerica.com, and I want you to pose the question just like this. Dr. D, I've always heard, and then you're going to fill in the blanks. Is it true? And I will be answering these types of questions live on our show each and every Wednesday night. So I will not see you here in a live video tomorrow night. Instead, I will see you when you click under the events on Market America Healthy Living here on the Facebook page, and you'll sign up and register for our show tomorrow night. Still 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I can't wait to see you there. Until I get to see you next time, I want you to congratulate yourself before you go to bed tonight for showing up for you tonight. If you have more questions, make sure to put them in the comments down below, and we'll get to those. Until then, I'll see you later.